You're listening to the Geriatric Mamas Podcast with Jessica Raziri
and Sonia Tapley. Hey mamas, welcome back to another episode of Geriatric Mamas. This is a HOPEisode story submitted by Kathee, who saw our post on the Moms of Maine Facebook group inviting women to share their journey to mamahood. We're so happy she sent us her story so we can share it with you today.
Yes, it is a good one. Warning, you're probably going to need some waterproof mascara. Courtney told me that we need to start giving disclaimers to the episodes that are tearjerkers and make sure that you have your waterproof mascara on because it is definitely a tearjerker. It's an incredible story. So thank you so much, Kathee, for sending that in.
I know, I almost started crying too.
And for all of you mamas or soon-to-be mamas just tuning in and are wondering, like, what the hell am I listening to? What is a HOPEisode? So the purpose of these HOPEisodes is to provide hope to those who are in the thick of their journey to mamahood. Each HOPEisode shares a different woman's journey to geriatric mamahood, whether it be through fertility treatments, surrogacy, adoption. Regardless of the method, all of these women have endured heartache, disappointment, anxiety, and stress before finally being blessed with their miracle babies. I didn't want to hear about the woman who effortlessly conceived with no issues. I wanted to hear about the woman who had experienced loss, whose odds of having a child of her own were slim, who was told that she needed donor eggs because her eggs were moldy, who spent thousands of dollars on fertility treatments only to have them end in heartache. But despite their odds and their struggle, they were finally blessed with their miracle baby. These stories gave me hope to keep trying. They made me feel like I wasn't alone and what I was experiencing was normal and my journey wasn't over. It made me feel encouraged and was honestly what kept me going. If you have a fertility journey you would like to share, please send it to us at geriatricmamas.com and click send us your story.
Yes, please.
You're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
I played that for Annabelle this week.
Yeah, how did it go?
She was like, "Are you happy, mommy?" And I was like, "Yeah," because I was just like, can't remember what it was, but I was like, I'm angry right now. And I was like, I had to let her know because there was a behavior thing that happened, and I was like, I just want you to know I'm angry right now. And then like a few minutes later she was like, "Are you happy?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like clapping, she's like clap clap clap, and I was like, have you heard that song, like if you're happy and you know it? So I like played it for her.
Did she hear it or is she just doing that?
No, she's just doing it on her own, I think.
Oh,
because when she heard the song she was like, oh. So
well, she might have heard it on Miss Rachel.
That's true.
They play.
Could have. It's been a long
Hayden
time.
gets a lot from Miss Rachel, more than I realized, because like he'll say things or do little things or like, you know, play along to certain songs. And I'm like, I know I haven't shown you that. And then I'll see it on Miss Rachel. I'll be like, oh, that's where he got it from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hayden got his first official timeout the other day.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I felt bad. Well, I mean, he was hitting me and we were like, no, don't hit. And like he would literally like he was like hitting me and then looking at Adam as he was doing it to kind of like, I felt like it was like he was looking at Adam being like, what are you gonna do about it? Like what? Like I'm gonna hit her. She's my mom. I can hit her if I want to. And so Adam just like went over, picked him up and brought him upstairs in his crib. And usually like when he goes down for a nap, it's like you have like the stars going, you have the noise machine, he has his blankie, his pacifier, all these things that are just so comforting. And he didn't have that. It was just like the light was on, but there was like no stars. He didn't have his blankie, he didn't have his pacifier. It was just like, here, put the timer on for 5 minutes, which to him felt like, well, to me, it felt like a long time because I was just hearing him cry and I was like, well, maybe he gets it now. And he's just like, no. But it's like, I don't really know how to like, because it's really hard when they're not fully verbal yet to like scold them and like you know, it's like you tell them and it's like I think they understand, but it's like I'm not going to scream at him, I'm not going to hit him. So it's like I guess we just remove him from the situation and give him a minute to like get out whatever he's doing. And then it was funny because then when like, you know, Adam went back in there to go get him, And like he just like had these like tears in his eyes, and he was just like his face is all red, and he was like snotty, and he just like, but then like had like a big smile on his face, like so happy. It had only been 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he comes down to me and he like hugs me and just sat next to me like nothing ever happened. I'm just like, okay. So I guess it's like I don't want the crib. I don't want him to associate the crib as timeout, you know? So that was my only thing. But we didn't know where else to put him because like he's not going to sit in a chair.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to sit on a step. I don't really like the whole corner thing.
Yeah.
So like we didn't know. We're just like, well, here you go. Here's your little cage.
Yeah.
Just sit in this cage for a little bit.
The hitting thing is hard. It's like
I know.
They all go through this stage and it's like they're learning their boundaries and they can't control themselves. They're like a little out of control, and then they're like testing to see if it's funny or not.
Yeah.
And
it's totally what he was doing too, because he was like, he would do it and then laugh. Like he like thought it was funny, and then like he wasn't understanding why I wasn't laughing. And then like look at Adam, like waiting to see if Adam would laugh, and Adam wasn't laughing. And he's like, but guys, this is hilarious. Smack. We're just like, no, it's not funny. Stop.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No.
I don't know who the timeout though was more for. It was me or him, because I felt like I was kind of going through it with him.
Sometimes you both need one. It's really hard though to do that. Like,
but I was like, how long has it been? And I was like, 1 minute and 30 seconds. I'm like, oh.
Never mind.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
I just don't like hearing him upset. Like, it just breaks my heart.
No, I know. I've only been able to last for like 1 second with Annabelle because she was doing, so she gets into like these crazy zoomies sometimes, and they're not necessarily the most healthy situations for the fact that we have the dog who's like geriatric AF, like really like he's like 16 years old at this point, and she'll just want to like run up to him and like give him great big hugs or like chase him around when she's getting the zoomies, or she'll like do that to a cat that like doesn't know any better but to scratch or something, and then she'll
and
like,
that's terrifying to an animal, by the way. Hayden does that too. He'll run right up to the pugs like friggin' Elvira, just like
right, and you're like, oh my god, broken back. And then for me, when she does it, she'll like run up and like sometimes she'll bite my butt cheek, and I won't know it's about to happen, and she'll think it's so funny and she'll try to do it again, and she's bigger now, so it's hard. One time all of this was happening, like the cats, the dogs, my butt, all of this was happening at the same time, and I was by myself, and there was nothing I could really like do to restrain her, so I like just picked her up whatever way I could. Pretty sure her head was facing down. Like scooped her up, and I like brought her up to her room, and I shut the door, and at first she thought it was funny, and then she realized mommy's not joking, and I was like talking to her from outside the door, and I was like, listen honey, you could hurt Chi-Chi, you could get hurt by one of the cats, and you hurt mommy's bum.
And you hurt mommy's bum.
And she was like, I'm sorry. And she just like started crying, like boo-boo crying. So I opened up the door and I gave her a hug. And like that solved that time. But there were like 2 days after that where the same thing happened. And I was like, well, honey, if you want to stay outside of your room, I'm going to need you to stop with the zoomies. And the conversation worked one time, and then I did have to bring her back up one other time, and it stopped.
I think we're moving into the feral phase.
Yeah, the feral phase is great.
I was like, I had a really good run with him, and he still is like a good napper, but it's like we're moving into like the midday naps, which are just amazing, because it's like anywhere between 1 and 2:30, right in the middle of your day, because it's like, no, I didn't have anything I needed to do. That's fine. Let's make sure we're home so you can get your nap in. Great. Yeah. But if he doesn't get it, he's just like feral as fuck. Like he literally is just like running around, being a savage to the dogs, like throwing things just because like he'll see that I like neatly put everything away. And he's never like, he's a baby, right? Like it's I get it, like babies throw things out, but what he's doing now is he'll literally see that I put all these things away, and then he'll grab like a big bucket and he'll stare right at me and then just dump it all on the floor. Yeah. And then he'll like grab things and just like as he's staring at me and throwing them across the room, like he's doing it on purpose. Like I'm just like, what happened to my child? Where is he? Like, I don't know who you are, you little demon baby, but like this, you are not welcome.
Yeah.
The power of Christ compels you.
Yeah.
Is that
seriously.
what they say?
Yes.
I'm Catholic. I should know this.
That's what happens to them. They turn actual feral. And
Yeah. I feel like he needs a rabies shot. I'm not like huge into like heavy metals and crazy vaccines, but I might give him a rabies shot. That might be on the agenda.
Right. Yeah, we might put that on the list. I oftentimes wonder, okay, I don't know why this pops into my head, but I do wonder why we're not like rabies vaccinated and dogs are, because I swear to God, toddlers, they don't give a shit. They'll run out to a fox and they'll be like, "Hey, Foxy Fox!" Like, like, "Oh, Mom, look, it's a fox! I'm petting it." Like, we have these.
Oh my gosh,
those
they're beautiful. They
big.
Are. I never realized a fox could be that big.
I know.
Oh my gosh, so
like
pretty.
A family of 4. We usually see like 3 at a time, and like one will bop out and bop back in. But they were out, I think it was like 2 nights ago, they were all out, and I came out right when they went back in the woods, and Annabelle's like, "Mommy, I want to go find the foxes." And I was like, "No, honey, we are not going to find the foxes."
Yeah.
Like, this is not a thing. Like, they're really cute from a distance. But Mike said that one of the neighbors, not like in our building, but like one of the neighbors somewhere, is like leaving out hard-boiled eggs. And so they'll come.
God, I bet that smells amazing.
I know. Well, I don't know. They definitely
like all of the farts. Like, I feel like that's literally like all I can imagine.
The fox
because like Adam was on an egg kick for a while, and it's while I was fucking pregnant, and it would piss me the fuck off because I'm not really a big egg person.
Yeah.
And it was like every morning I'd wake up and it would just smell like farts, and it would just be like all the eggs, and it just smelled even worse than it normally does. Awful. And I never really like did the whole I never got like nausea or anything like that, but like certain smells, especially eggs, I just couldn't do it. And it was like every single morning. And then he'd be like, "Do you want some eggs?" I'm like, "Fuck you and your eggs. No." Does this face look like somebody that is so excited about what I'm smelling right now? No.
So excited.
Keep your farts to yourself. I don't want your eggs.
God. Yeah, no. I can't deal with any of that. I can't deal with the farting, number 1. So I would probably have to just exit the building with that, and they wouldn't even have a chance to ask me about the eggs, because like anytime Mike farts, I'm just like, I look over him and I'm like, "Are you fucking serious right now?" I'm so mad.
I've been calling them tutti fruities to Hayden. I was like, "You just tutti fruitied."
Yeah.
Mostly because I just think it'd be really funny if he like hearing his little voice call it a tutti frutti. So I just really tutti fruitied.
Yeah, no, that would be so cute.
Yeah,
it'll be one of his like next words that you hear. Yeah. Tutti frutti.
Well, my mother-in-law calls them fluffies.
Oh, fluffies.
So yeah,
wonder if he'll learn that. I wonder if he'll learn that.
He probably will. He'll probably hear her say it. Like, I'm probably fluffy is easier for him to say than tutti frutti, so he'll probably opt to say fluffy.
That'll be cute too.
Yeah. Well, now that we just spent 4 minutes talking about farts, should we get into the episode?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you drinking, by the way?
It is a lemonade with maple syrup in it. That it's kind of like the one that they make at Flatbreads in Portland. And I have rosé tinted glasses in there from Apothecary. And then Jessica told me that I should put some other kind of alcohol in there. So I put tequila because I feel like I'll still be like coherent enough to have a conversation with tequila. Yeah. Like even more so than if I had a beer instead. Like tequila wondering if tequila is like perfection for me, I think.
Your drink sounds like this like professional drink. Mine is it's like one of those like stock cold brew. It was like a cappuccino, and then I looked over to our bar and I saw like Bailey's Irish Cream, and I was like, don't mind if I do.
Hell yeah, that's
I'm just gonna add that to this. That sounds great. Actually, before we jump in, can you talk about the rose-colored glasses thing? I looked into that. What is it? Tell us about it. I just
ordered a subscription like 5 minutes before we got on the call. I mean, the call. 5 minutes before we got on to record. I finally ordered a subscription. So rose tinted glasses is one of the like herbal tinctures by Apothecary, and I've been looking at it for the longest time, and I just never bought it because I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it. There were a couple other tinctures that I saw them advertising that I was like, well, I kind of want to try that too. And then this month they came out with the little like trial size trio of the ones that all the ones that I wanted to try, and I think it was like $39.
I saw like an age one. I was like, ooh, that looks
Yes,
good. I was
that one
looking at
looks
like
so
all of
good.
them. I was like, ooh,
Yes.
these
So
all look
that
great.
one, I was on their website yesterday, and I was like, it was when Annabelle was like taking a little break from like all the activities we were doing. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to get on their website and just take a look. So I started reading through the herbs, and basically every single youth herb that they have goes into the one that you were just talking about. So I'm like, I need to get that one too.
Done.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like basically just like berries or like leaves or like whatever. And I think the one that's in rose tinted glasses, there's definitely like lion's mane or something in there, and I've heard that is like a mood stimulant.
Ooh.
And let me tell you, it's really gotten me through this week because I've had, well, I mean, there was 4th of July and then Mike had Tuesday off, so it hasn't really been like me by myself with Annabelle all week, but just still like I have only had like one day to myself to work on the podcast and to do social media and to get all the things that are flowing through my mind like out. So it really got me through the week because I get stressed when I can't work on things that I need to work on.
Yeah, I do too. Because it just adds up in your mind, and you're just like,
yeah. And
well, I need to
ignore
try it.
Annabelle. Yeah, you got to.
I need to try it. I'm like intrigued, and like the price. So that's like a promotional.
For like,
how much are they usually?
The $39 is like of a mini, and it's a pretty good size for each mini. So there's 3 minis in that box, but then if you purchase the full size bottle of any which one that you like, you get 15% off for your first one, and it's like $33. But I did the subscription, which also takes 15% off every bottle, so that's $33 every bottle.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Well, we're gonna need to check in and see how you're liking it. next week you suddenly have a beard and like
I already
you're like, but my mood is great.
So the rose tinted glasses is supposed to be a skin nourisher as well. So it's supposed to like
I'm all about anything with skin. I just did like another mask this morning. I feel like I'm glowing right now. That's why my skin is red right now.
Your skin looks really good though. I was noticing that like your skin looks really, really great. And like, I don't want to say this like in comparison to mine, but I was looking at mine and I was like, wait, yours looks so much better. I know that's
you know what I do also that I think really helps, like especially with the camera, I think it makes it look even more, is I have learned, because I've really struggled with foundations. Every single foundation I've ever tried, it dries the shit out of my face. Like it just sucks all the moisture out of my face. It'll look great when I first put it on, and then it's like after a few minutes, it's just dry. It's in the cracks. You see it in all the. It's disgusting, and it just like sits on top of my skin. It doesn't matter how much I prep my skin before. It just doesn't matter. It just sits on top of my skin. I hate it. And so what I've learned that I have to do is I mix my foundations with lotion. So I always have to do this. Like sometimes I'll mix it with, what is that goo? The goo that the glow stuff, the highlighter. It was Goop. The something.
Oh yeah,
Goop.
the Goop. Is it like the glow tint? It's like the
tinted. Sometimes I'll do that if I want more of like a bronze kind of glowy look. But then sometimes I literally just use like any lotion, like the Bobbi Brown hydrating cream. Right now I have, because I ran out of that, I've been using, it's by, I think it's Jessica Alba. Doesn't she own Honest? Isn't that her company?
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, it's a lotion by Honest Company, and it's I'm on the fence. You should try it and let me know what you think. I haven't figured it out yet. I do like it with the foundation. I think on its own, maybe it's good for the evening because it can be a little oily, but it's not like a morning. It's like a good evening if you want like extra moisture, and then to mix with your lotions, your foundation. it makes it last longer. But yeah, so there's a lotion that I've been using for her. But yeah, so I basically just mix my foundations. I'll do like literally half and half.
Yeah.
So it almost turns it into like a tinted moisturizer, but it's a little bit more coverage than your normal tinted moisturizer. So I do lotion and then I mix that, and it's like, and then sometimes I'll like touch up with like a little extra concealer, but then even then I'll go over sometimes and blot in some moisturizer because it's like my face just like sucks in all the moisture.
It needs the moisture.
It does. Like pack it in.
No, I need to start doing that, especially in the summertime, because we're all like, even though we're wearing sunscreen, we're going for walks and like all that stuff. So my skin gets really gross in the summer sometimes.
Yeah. Speaking of walk, I have one other little update, which like I feel like our listeners are gonna be like, okay, that's cool. But to me, it's a big fucking deal because anybody that knows my child understands that he does not go far without his blankie and his pacifier. Like Sonia first saw this firsthand. Like the amount of times we tried taking a photo and I tried grabbing his blanket and he'd immediately freak out. It was in every picture, his pacifier. Like he's just, it's his clutch. Like he just needs it. And I'm just like, oh my God. Well, we went for a walk 2 days ago because it was like, finally the first day it was like under 90 where it was like, okay, I can walk and not like feel like I'm going to die. So I took him for a walk to the playground and we walked all the way to the playground, which is like a good, like almost 10-minute walk. Maybe not quite, probably like 5 or 7 minutes, but whatever. And then he played in the playground and that entire time without his blanket or his pacifier, he didn't know I brought it, but I did bring his blanket and pacifier because I was like, we're probably gonna need this on the way back. And we did. And because then it was like he played for like a good like 20 to 30 minutes and then he was just kind of over it. And then he started kind of like melting down a little and asking for his blankie. And so he had it on the way back. But I was just so impressed that it was like he made it all the way there. He played the entire time. Like that was like a long stretch for him, like without it. And I was like, okay. So I'm gonna try to do like little things like that, like when we like go places, like even like in a store, if I can try to like, let's just leave the blankie here without him noticing that he's leaving it, if I can.
Out of
the
sight,
blankie I don't mind so much. It's the pacifiers, the big one, just because I think it's cute, but it's like I don't want him to have teeth issues, and, you know. So it's a thing. I just wish that he would just like on his own. Like, I don't want to be the bad guy to take it away. Like, I just wish that he would decide on his own. He's done.
You know what I did to Annabelle? I traumatized her by showing her photos of babies who had had their pacifiers for too long. And for some
like
reason,
gnarly teeth and like mouths and like buck teeth and like
she like was at first she was really traumatized and then she stopped believing that was from a pacifier. So now I'm screwed. I don't know what to do. I have to figure it out sooner rather than later.
Okay, maybe we can like Photoshop something to like
Photoshop a passy in the kid's hand or like
You're like, see, no, we can literally do that. I'm on it. This is great. I'm going to do that to Hayden when he's like old enough to understand that, you know, kind of a concept. Yeah, I'm absolutely going to do that.
Sweet. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Now we're going to get into it for real this time. Today's episode is a HOPEisode story submitted by Kathee, who saw our post in the Moms of Maine Facebook group, inviting women to share their journey to mamahood. We're so happy that she sent her story in for us to share with you. So Sonia is going to go ahead and get started.
All right. So Kathee wrote, I met my husband when I was 34 and we quickly married. We both just knew. I always wanted to be a mom, so we decided to try to conceive right away. I got off birth control and my cycles did not come back. My blood work showed that I wasn't ovulating. My doctor gave me meds to start my period and then gave me Clomid. After 2 rounds of Clomid, our son was conceived. I was 35 when I delivered him, and he was 3 weeks early due to me having cholestasis. So
I've like never heard of that in my life.
No,
so.
I know. I actually hadn't either.
Now Dr. Sonia has entered the chat, and she is going to explain and educate all of us on what this is.
So I Googled it. And AI generator says cholestasis of pregnancy, also known as intrahepatic cholestasis of pregnancy, ICP, or obstetric cholestasis, OC, is a liver condition that can occur during pregnancy. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that AI made me say all of that.
But you did it beautifully.
Oh,
don't try to do it again. Just keep going.
I'm gonna try.
Don't try. Don't even.
Okay.
Don't do that to yourself. Just keep going. Move on. You did it.
So, this is all characterized by a slowing or stopping of bile flow from the gallbladder, which can lead to itching and jaundice. ICP usually occurs in the second and third trimesters, but can sometimes start earlier, and symptoms include intense itching, usually on the hands and feet, but can occur elsewhere. Jaundice or yellowing of the skin and eyes, and mucous membranes. Gross. Increased. Like, why does it make you say mucous membranes? Increased serum bile salts, abnormal liver enzymes, dark-colored urine, fatigue, loss of appetite, light-colored stools, pain in the upper right abdomen, and nausea. Well, that sounds horrible.
That sounds delightful. That sounds like a good Friday night right there.
Right. She's like, I'm finally pregnant, but, I might be dying.
But I have all of this.
Right. Jeez. So we wanted one more child together, so we didn't prevent pregnancy after our son was born in 2020. When our son was 4 months old, I found out I was pregnant again, and we were ecstatic. We had the first ultrasound, and everything looked great. The little heart was beating, and we were excited. At my 12-week appointment, I found out I was going through a miscarriage. They did an office procedure, and it was extremely painful. I still remember sitting on my husband's lap just sobbing in the office. We were devastated, but we wanted to keep trying. I got pregnant 4 more times in a 2-year time period, and they all resulted in miscarriages. I had the in-office procedure and then had 2 D&Cs in an operating room, 2 passed naturally at home. Yeah. After the 3rd loss, we started testing the embryos, and they all showed genetic abnormalities. The doctor said it was because of my age and that my egg quality was not good, but that we could keep rolling the dice per se, and we could get another good egg because we had gotten one with our son. We decided to keep trying, but we agreed that if we had another loss, we wouldn't try anymore. It was too heartbreaking to go through.
Mm-hmm.
In October of 2022, I hadn't had my period since August. I scheduled a blood test to find out why. I was taking weekly pregnancy tests, so I knew I wasn't pregnant. New in quotations. The night before my doctor's appointment, I decided to take another pregnancy test, and it was clearly positive. I knew I couldn't be too far along because I had taken a different test recently. I set up blood work with the doctor and also an ultrasound for November. During the ultrasound, they could see the sac, but didn't see a baby in it. I thought it was another loss. We were upset, but they told us to come back in 9 days. We waited and were terrified. When we came back, there was a baby in the sac with a great heartbeat. Crying tears of happiness, I was cautiously optimistic. We found out in December that it was a girl. The pregnancy was tough. I had very bad morning sickness, and then I was diagnosed with gestational diabetes, and I didn't have that with my son. It was a rough journey. Towards the end of my pregnancy, starting at 32 weeks, I started failing the weekly NSTs and would regularly be admitted to the hospital. The last week that I was pregnant, I suddenly didn't need insulin anymore, and we found out that my placenta was failing, and I had cholestasis again.
Ugh.
I know. Our daughter was born at 35 weeks due to her increasingly bad heart rates. She was born in June of 2023 via C-section, and we discovered that she had a true knot in her cord. So we are so thankful. I know. So she wrote, "We are so thankful that she is here and safe." I can't even imagine going through all of that, all the losses, and then
when you were reading that whole last part, when they found out they were pregnant again, they were cautiously I feel like I didn't realize it until right now that I'm kind of seeing stars, but I was holding my breath because I was like, oh god, is she, is it okay? Is it okay? It was okay. And then it was just and she was born and she's okay. And I'm like,
right. I know. It's such a roller coaster.
I let it out. I'm just like, oh my god.
Thank God.
Shit.
It's such a roller coaster. And she also wrote that she decided at the time of the C-section to get her tubes removed because she couldn't handle going through all the losses again, which, oh my goodness, she went through, can you imagine going through that much loss?
Yeah, I can. I said no. But unfortunately I can.
Right.
It's I don't wish that on anybody. It's truly devastating. It's a loss that I don't think anyone should ever have to bear. Right. It's awful.
Right. And how lucky is she that she made it long enough for the babies to be like,
yes,
okay, outside of the womb, given the circumstances, you know?
My God. Congratulations, Kathee.
Yes.
That is absolutely amazing. What a miracle. That is such a, I mean, that's what these stories, it's what this is like the perfect HOPEisode story. This is what we look for. It's like, oh my God, it's just, yeah. That's awesome. So we asked Kathee, what's your favorite thing about being a geriatric mama? And she said, I waited until the time was right for me. I'm more patient and more mature person than I was in my 20s. Not the truth.
Yeah. We can relate.
Yeah. We also asked her, what advice would you like to share for women who are still on their journey to mamahood? And she said, advocate for yourself and lean on your partner. That is, I mean, it's a very simple statement, but it's so packed in with so much there. Like, absolutely, yes.
I feel like that's becoming a theme now too, not just with HOPEisodes, but with like all the other things that we talk about in the other episodes too.
And one thing that, you know, she was saying too, it's like, yes, like absolutely advocate for yourself, keep pushing forward. You know, doctors say like your eggs are shit. It's like, well, I think I still probably have one in here that's not shit. So I'm going to keep trying until I find it. And also like leaning on your partner. I think that's like a good one too, because, you know, even though it's like our bodies, we're the ones that are physically going through it. And so it's like we have physical trauma, right? We have physical, like our hormones, like everything, like we feel things, like we know there's a baby in there and then it's not. And it's just like, there's a lot that happens.
Yeah.
But it's like remembering that it's like, you know, it's their loss too, and they're grieving too. And I think a lot of times like the partner wants to put on a brave face and be strong. And it's easy for it to just be about the mama, because a lot of it is, but I think really leaning on each other and like understanding that you're both going through this loss, you're both going through this, and like pulling in, because it's really easy to push the other away and get really like closed in. So it's like just, I think that's just a good healthy reminder.
Yeah, definitely. Especially for, you know, the journeys that go on for like a longer and extended period of time.
Like 4 years.
Yeah. It can definitely weigh on both partners for sure when you're going through it for that long.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot.
So that's really all that we had for today, was our HOPEisode story. So thank you again, Kathee, for sending that in and for your amazing answers. And listeners, reminder, you get 20% off services at Ageless Medical Aesthetics in Westbrook, Maine with the code MAMAS2024. And you get a free first swim class at Goldfish Swim in Portland, Maine with the same code MAMAS2024. You'll just need to give them a call to use the code.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to tune in next week. Follow, subscribe, rate, and review. Tell a friend. We need all of your support.
Yes, please. All of your support.
All of your support.
For more info, you can check out our website at geriatricmamas.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at geriatric_mamas, on YouTube at geriatric mamas, on TikTok at geriatric_mamas, Twitter at geriatric mamas, and follow our group page on Facebook, Geriatric Mamas. I left it like I was going to say something else.
I know. I was like, there's something else there. And if you have a topic idea you'd like us to discuss, are interested in being a guest, or simply have a funny geriatric story to tell, you can go to geriatricmamas.com and hit be a guest or send us your story. Bye-bye.
I feel like that was a really short episode.